What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Game Day Talk with your host, Ben. Training camp season is officially upon us, and today we're going to look at the press conference of Nolan Teasley and Kevin O'Connell. I have not been able to see this press conference yet, so I'm going to be giving you my raw reaction to a lot of different clips on it. So, without further ado, let's begin, shall we?
All you folks back ready to rock and roll. Before we get going, I do want to just kind of hit on the Gerald Alexander situation. I know we issued a statement earlier. First and foremost, disappointment is the word. Anytime something like this happens, we go through a process with.
I do want to say that this is the second. I think so. Yeah. So this is the second coach on KOC staff in the last 3 years that has been arrested for DUI. So I don't know, is KOC stressing his coaching staff out a lot where they got to go out and drink and drive? Who knows?
Obviously the league and make sure the legal process plays out. And that's been our precedent through these situations. And, when that process is complete, which, has been a recent situation to be completed. We made the decision to suspend Gerald as coaches. The expectations and the standards we have are clear, and it's important that we do those things.
Now, this doesn't really make NFL headline news because of the Kyle Shanahan car accident. There's a lot of unleft details in that situation. So I will be curious to see what plays out there. So
for our players and be the examples on and off the field in this organization, and we take that very seriously. Gerald understands that. He knows he fell short of those expectations, and he's taking full responsibility for what happened, and he understands the consequences, and that is already a process that's begun, and he knows he needs to make better decisions moving forward. He's a valued member of my staff. We're, fortunate to bring him on, his experience with Flo, and, he's done a great job on the.
I will have to say Kevin O'Connell has a weird coaching staff. His offensive coordinator got arrested for DUI, and his defensive coordinator is currently suing the league. It's crazy. And he doesn't look like he's aged at all since he started coaching
the grass since he arrived, and will continue to do so when he returns, and we're excited to get him back. Changing gears, you guys know training camp is my favorite time of year, favorite time to get on the grass with the guys, and we get a daily task of trying to grow, improve, continue to build upon, one of the tightest knit groups in the National Football League from a culture standpoint. We're really excited about our team this year. Every year at TCO here, I think we have the best training camp set up in the National Football League. You guys know I think we've got the best fans in the National Football League, and look forward to welcoming them out starting on Saturday. So it's been a good offseason for our team. I really like the way we approach the offseason program, getting the most out of it, even though, the circumstances aren't what they're going to be in training camp, when we can start applying physicality and really going through a very grueling, difficult process to kind of build our team the right way. And I think between now and when we open the season, there's a lot of room for improvement. But I know I speak on behalf of our players when I say they're excited about what the potential of our team can be. But that's what this time of year is for all 32 teams.
So a little bit of newsworthy, you've probably seen this on Twitter. Right tackle Brian O'Neill signed a 4-year extension for $90 million and about $24 million per year annually. I think that's a great deal. Brian O'Neill, when you talk about guys who have just been staples and just been just rocks for an organization for a very long time, Brian O'Neill fits that category, and he's going to finish his career Viking, and I'm excited about that. He's been a pretty good right tackle for them for a good amount of time, and definitely one of the leaders of the offensive line.
There's a wonderful opportunity out in front of all of us, and we got to go to work to maximize it every single day. It's going to be a physical camp. We want to, really build our team a certain kind of way. We have enough experience now since I've arrived here. I know with clarity the type of team that we need to build and the improvements we need to make. And I think a lot of that alignment has been, a daily thing that I've really enjoyed growing with Nolan every single day and his staff. It's been a really cool summer, getting to, build these relationships and see just so many of the things that made us all so excited about bringing Nolan here. It's just awesome when it starts coming to life on a daily.
So I think one of the criticisms of KOC that I think is stupid is that he's way too nice. And when it comes to coaching, like, I understand you got to be hard, you got to be, terse, you got to be, all about discipline and stuff like that. But I think what KOC is really good at is he manages people very well. That's where Zimmer fell short to his predecessor. When you're winning, everything works well. But when things don't go well, you got to be able to manage personalities and manage people very well. And KOC does a really, really good job of that. That's why they were able to kind of keep it together during the 2023 season and last year when things were not really going well. So, KOC is not a perfect coach, but he manages people very well. And that is a plus, which for some reason the dark web thinks that's a negative about a coach.
Basis, and it's not only Nolan, but the staff that he's assembled has been just as good of a staff as I've been around, quite honestly. And really look forward to see them continuing to build upon that. And then, I'll defer to Nolan on this one, but with great excitement for me as the head coach to know that we've got Brian O'Neill under contract for a long time. He's been such a pillar of this organization, and just the leadership as a guy that from day one when I arrived here, he's been somebody that he's poured in everything since I've been here and a long time before that. And this organization means so much to.
So I remember when Brian O'Neill was drafted in 2018, believe it or not, he was actually a tight end in college, converted to a tackle, and he had supreme athletic ability, but wasn't really quite sure if he would translate well to the NFL, given that he wasn't really that thick of a dude. But he's filled out his frame. He's, I think in his first 2 years, he didn't give up a single sack. So just, you talk about guys who have just been staples to the offensive line. Brian O'Neill is that guy.
To him, our fans, our ownership.
And he is definitely going to be a Ring of Honor candidate sometime in the future for this team.
And just to watch this, process play out and the way Nolan and his staff and everybody handled it to come to this outcome on the eve of training camp is just a really, really good thing for our team. And I know Brian is going to go out there and have the best year yet with the type of offseason he's had and his excitement about what we're doing offensively and where we take it from here. So I'll turn it over to Nolan.
Yeah, how's everybody doing? Just kind of echoing that sentiment, like this is an exciting time of year, obviously, and can't wait to just starting to see the setup come to life out there. I can't wait to welcome our fans and get this year started. Again, exciting time of year as an opportunity to grow as a football team, to grow together as an operation, and just getting underway this summer. Again, KO kind of touched on it, but working together with this guy every day, it's become clear we're aligned in our vision, both in terms of where we are currently and as we embark on the 2026 season, but also where we're headed in the future. And
So the big thing I will say about Nolan Teasley is the one advantage he does have coming here is that he doesn't have to make a quarterback decision now or this year. He can wait till next year or maybe even the year after that. The QB decision is what sunk KOC. Just they picked the wrong quarterback. And now that they're going to have another quarterback decision coming up after this year. But the good thing about Nolan Teasley is that he doesn't have to make that decision now. He can wait. So that's a plus.
As we build this thing out, the connection between the coaching staff and personnel is already pretty apparent. We've seen it come to life with some of the recent acquisitions, the extension of Brian O'Neill. I'll talk about that a little bit more in depth, but yeah, just really, really, really excited about where we stand today and then where we're going in the future. And just to briefly, I haven't seen you guys since we added some members of the personnel staff, but Andrew Healy, Trent Kirshner, Tyler Hamblin, Ryan Pace, Azam Kapadia.
So Ryan Pace, the reaction to Ryan Pace being added to the staff like sent Vikings Twitter over the edge. Like, you should see some of the tweets and comments. I just think that it's important to have a guy that's done the GM job just kind of there teaching people about day-to-day operations. Like, I don't think Ryan Pace is having any say in what the Vikings actually do or pick in terms of like personnel. So I don't get the Ryan Pace outrage. I just don't. I think it's stupid.
They bring a wealth of experience, very complementary skill sets, and they've meshed really well with the talent that we already have in the building with Ryan Monens and Chiz and Mike Shaladen and Sam DeLuca, to name a couple. So to see everybody working together, building out process, being collaborative, being communicative, it just gives you assurance that we're headed in the right direction. And it's early in the year still. So in terms of BO, working in Seattle, you're aware of what a great player he is. And then coming into the building, it's a privilege to kind of get to know the person, spending some time with him and understanding how well regarded he is within the building, consummate professional, leader, and everybody just holds him in such high regard. It's a foundational piece, and we're really, really pleased that we were able to keep him here for a long time. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Rob Brzezinski for leading that process. Emily Batis did a wonderful job, and obviously he's represented by Ryan Tolner and Rep 1. Those guys are professionals. Really good relationship between the Minnesota Vikings and them, and we'll look forward to building upon that. And with that, we'll open it up.
Kevin, you said this camp's going to be physical. Is that different from other camps? More physical?
Well, I think you always want to find that balance, because you have to build kind of the callus of physical.
Okay, so I will say that this is the first time in probably in KOC's entire tenure that he's actually talked about having a physical type training camp. They've never had that in the past because he's been concerned about guys getting hurt, and that's reasonable. I mean, the healthiest team typically wins the Super Bowl. So it is interesting to hear Kevin O'Connell actually talk about having a physical training camp. Now, how hard would he mash that button? I think we'll have to see and wait and see.
With the rules that we have now, really, and even over the next 3-4 days, we're still not going to be in full pads by the rules until Monday. So really, you're looking at a pretty significant amount of time between the last time these guys were able to practice, with the physicality, specifically along the line of scrimmage. I mean, we're not tackling to the ground every day, but we want to make sure our team. It's been a process throughout the offseason, but also through the schematics of what we're doing on offense and defense. We want to build our team and the ability to play the way we want to play along the line of scrimmages. And then, obviously, both offense and defensively, our schemes are, layered and built on top of each other, but it still comes down to play style and physicality in so many aspects of this game. And we've got to find a way to practice it on a daily basis when we can, all with the mindset of knowing we need a fresh team, but a prepared team for the season.
Keyword there, fresh team and prepared team. And I think KOC normally has his team prepared. Will they be fresh? That's the question, because I said it once and I'll probably say it again throughout the season. The team that's the healthiest typically wins the Super Bowl. Just saying, guys.
Is there any way you approach training camp differently now with 4 years under your belt than you might have in year one?
Well, I just think there's there's requirements. It's really not as much time as I know. Coaches were always fighting for as much time as we can possibly have with the guys. But when you really look at it and you get with the sports science people and you really learn, to maximize the days, and they're not all the same, but they can still be maximized, and they still give you a chance to kind of own that day and make sure that you've kind of shown up and put everything you've got into it. That's coaches, that's players, that's our staff supporting the players. But just from a scheduling standpoint, what works the best? Always subject to change if circumstances, whether it's it's been pretty hot, as of late, or weather here or there that could force us to maybe just have to adjust, because we want to maximize the preparation. But it's also really important to me to maximize.
So the few days that I really kind of highlight during training camp are first day of pads, the night practice, and when the joint practices happen. That's when you really see the intensity cranked up and dial up. So if you want to really get a good measure of where the team is at, those are the three times during training camp that you really got to look at.
The ability to be in front of fans and the energy that brings to practice this time of year. So I think the joint practices with Baltimore, you guys know how important I believe those are. How we handle the preseason games is one thing, but the build up to those 2 days, while also knowing that we've got to compete within, the Vikings versus Vikings world. And we hope that's a very competitive thing.
How do you anticipate managing the quarterbacks, especially in the first week or so of camp, in terms of first team, second team, whatever, but also just in terms of how you'll evaluate it?
Yeah.
The quarterback competition. That's the only reason that we're really watching this, right?
I met with all those guys really on an individual basis over the last day or so, and really just want to be able to articulate the vision and the plan. I feel very good about our plan.
The plan is that Kyler Murray is going to win the job. I don't know why KOC is just beating around the bush or just like saying, oh, this is going to be a competition. No, this is no competition. Kyler Murray is winning the job. It's coach speak, essentially.
Both Kyler and JJ will.
It's like when a cop arrests you, they got to read you your rights. He's got to say that.
Take reps with the first team. They'll also take reps with the second group, and I think that gives different layers to the evaluation as well. We want an elevator at the quarterback position, and in many ways, doing that in this system is kind of a do your job mentality, which is running the show, throwing completions, and just showing the ability to execute our offense with comfort. And that offense is an evolving thing, and we're excited about what this year's offense could look like. But we do want to, we want to be thorough. We want to be comprehensive with this. But at the same time, I think it's important when we feel good about a decision, as a group, and we're ready to move forward. It'll be good to do that so we can prepare that player for the season, but also give our team and our players clarity of exactly the direction we're going, and then make sure that that whenever that happens, that's not the end all. I mean, we need to continuously chase improvement amongst our whole team, and there's other competitions that will go on, and it's going to be a competitive back end of our roster to make our team because of the depth that's been put together by Nolan and his staff. So there's a lot of layers to it, but in regards to those guys, that's how we'll handle it.
Nolan, how will you sort of be involved in that situation? Will you, as a third party, kind of just viewing it from afar, or will you be involved in the discussions of who's going to start? Just curious how you envision your role in these types of situations.
Yeah, just like anything, and as we've gone through the summer, we've actively talked about every decision that we've made, big or small, and this will be no different. When it's decision making time, I mean, ultimately you want to give your coaching staff that freedom to make that choice, but certainly I should have the ability to offer a different vantage point, and we'll discuss it actively.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add is just the perspective. I've
Okay, let's just cut right to the chase here. Nolan Teasley did not draft JJ McCarthy. He has no attachments to JJ McCarthy, so he does not JJ McCarthy is not his guy. So Nolan Teasley is going to be the final say here, but let's just JJ McCarthy's at a disadvantage because McCarthy's not his guy, and Kyler Murray's not his guy either. So, but if Kyler Murray wins the job, McCarthy's time in Minnesota is over.
Come to Nolan about scheduling questions. I've come to him about so many unique things just because his experience and to have the ability to have that kind of dialogue, about the decision-making process is only enhancing our organization and making me better. And that'll be the same case in regards to that conversation for sure.
Kevin, with Christian Darrisaw, are there any physical concerns or limitations lingering yet with his knee, or is he?
No, there's not. And the one thing I will say, and I always want to make sure, and I'll keep you guys updated as we go on, but we've got plans for all of our players, either players that, are coming off injury, or in Christian's case, he's had a healthy offseason and he's really built up to a place where I know he's excited to get going. But throughout the, training camp, can be a grind, and we want our players to experience that, but still take an individual aspect or individual approach, I should say, to.
I think one of the dumbest things I've seen on the internet is that the Vikings should trade Christian Darrisaw because he's hurt too much. This is his worst season I think he's ever had in his pros, and he was above average tackle. Come on, guys. When he's healthy, he's the best tackle in the NFL. We really got to stop the dumb takes.
How we best prepare, those 53 plus guys to be ready to go, and we want to be smart about that. But I'm excited to get Christian going, and I know he's excited for this training camp.
As far as the reps go too, for the QBs in particular, are you going to, I think you talked about this in June, are you going to try to split them up first team by days as opposed to Kyler one series with the first team, JJ the next? Is that still the plan to have?
It's a good question, and I think having gone through it, and Flo and I basically sit down, over the past month and kind of build out, what we need to accomplish for our team. And looking at that, it's probably not something that we'll do by the day. It's going to be more by certain periods. Maybe a guy's gotten a little bit more third down work, so then we'll make sure we kind of try to, even it out.
What kind of plan is that, man? Just give one guy one reps and give one guy another. Don't be splitting everything up. Good Lord.
But I will say this, and I told the quarterbacks, we don't need to make this 50-50. It's going to be that way to start when we're on kind of the time crunch. But when we get into some longer practices, there's some move the ball periods. There's some periods where the amount of plays is unknown sometimes as you really start to get into what real football is. So there may be some where by the day it's going to be hard to really kind of quantify, okay, what exactly was it? Because as practices get going, it's not that exact science, but over the sequence of many days, or as many days as we hope to have before we make a decision, I know we'll be thorough. I know both guys will feel like they've got an opportunity to compete, and they both know, and everybody on our team knows we're going to do what's best to give us the best possible chance to be a really good football team this year.
Is there a date in your mind, and I'm sure you won't share it with us, but is there a date in your mind where this has to be decided by to proceed to properly prepare the quarterback for the season?
I think there's an ideal date based upon training camp to make sure.
So, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and spill the beans on this date. It's prior to the joint practices. It's going to be prior to the joint practices. Sometime before the joint practices, they're going to have to name a starter, because the joint practices are probably the most important days in a training camp. That's when the quarterback one really needs to get all the reps. So if you're wondering about, well, what's the date that they're going to do it? It's going to be prior to the joint practices. So look up the date whenever those joint practices are, and then mark that date down. That's when they'll name the starter, because anything past joint practices, there's a serious problem.
We check a lot of boxes for our team, but also for not only that player, but our entire offense. So, yeah, there's absolutely a date in mind, and subject to what we think is best. If we feel like we can make the decision before that date, we will. If we feel like we need a little bit more time, we'll take it. And ultimately, a lot of work's been done to this point and been evaluated, both on the field, where we think guys are at from their understanding and comfort of our offense. And now we can apply it and really try to, push this thing to the point where I think it's going to enhance both players. And I think it's going to give us clarity on where we need to go for this year. I can't remember it right now.
Can I ask you about the Ravens
Yep.
practice? I mean, you always have talked about how important that is in your reader.
Is it just me, or do I feel like Nolan Teasy just looks at KOC like, bro, you talk too much? Like, look at his face, man. Like, he's just like, bro, just say it and just get on with it, man. Like, Nolan Teasley, he has said very few of his stuff since his opening statement in this press conference. Like, just, I know he has to think KOC talks too much, but that's just me.
You reiterated that today. Is that a time when you would want to know who your starter is?
I think, it's a critical point in camp for sure. It's our first chance to really, in a exhaustive amount of reps for that first group to really go against those guys. But we still have, complete full days, where we're getting both groups, the ones and twos work, situational work. But there's really a timeline in place that I think I don't want to say yes because we want this to be the right decision when that time comes. But ideally, we want to, Kevin, what I will tell you is we want to make sure that there is a comprehensive decision made, but the understanding that I'm well aware, having gone through training camps before as a player and a coach at that position, the time it takes to truly go into week one comfortable and ready to get off to a really good start.
When you make that lines, every quarterback that's come through here has talked about how complex and complicated the scheme is. Where would you say Kyler's comfort level is, having gone through OTs and minicamp?
Yeah, I think he's, I was really impressed with his ability in training camp to, we threw a lot at him and, or in the offseason program, I should say. And now it's about, there's really not going to be a lot that he's hearing for the first time. That he's going to be hearing things that he's already practiced, or at least, maybe not.
Something that Kyler Murray has actually, I heard, is pretty good at is his photographic memory. Like, if you teach him something once, he just gets it right in his head. So I think that's very, very interesting, and it's very, very important too. Also, Matthew Collar of Purple Insider has a great article about him. So if you have a chance, go check him out on a Substack.
Not at the full speed variety, but he's been in the huddle calling these plays. He's done a really nice job with that. Our offense is maybe different than what he's been accustomed to. But what I will say is we also want to make sure we're running an offense that's comfortable and something where a quarterback has a lot of confidence that they can go be the best versions of themselves in this offense. And there's no, there's a reason why, we make sure that there's always ability to make edits to the playbook and all within the understanding of the bigger picture of how we want to play. We want to run the football. We've been really excited about what that has looked like from.
We'll see if that's actually going to happen. KOC has constantly had some of the worst run games since he's been the head coach of the team. Even last year was just a below average run game. So, I mean, he says he's going to run the football, but look at that guy's face. He's like, I'm not running the football. Look at him. He's just screaming like, I can't run the football. I can't help myself.
The time we welcomed our players back in the spring, and now we get to put the pads on and really see against one of the hardest defenses in the NFL to run the football against on a daily basis. That there's, I think the term iron sharpens iron gets thrown around a lot, but when you're going up against Flo every day, that you better be iron. That's all I know, because it's going to be I
think the Vikings defense is going to have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. I mean, they have a lot of beef up front compared to in previous years. So look for them to be a really good run stopping unit. Can't wait to see them.
A really challenging thing.
When you make that announcement, do you anticipate or make that decision? Do you anticipate making an official announcement to give the guy ownership?
Yeah, they'll obviously, if you guys are all right with it, probably be the first to know. But then, yeah, this is, and I hope, it's been as, apparent, as I've tried to make it, transparency is really important within our building on things like this, but also with you guys as our connection to our fans. So, there's, this is going to be a very, when the decision's made, it's going to be a very.
So when the decision is made, they're going to go to ownership, and ownership's going to tell them that you need to win games. And I think the Wills are going to ask them, is this quarterback going to help us win the most games? And if the answer is no, then you better go back to the drawing board and pick again.
A process will take place, and then we'll move forward. and go try to win games.
When you look at your defensive unit, what excited you the most about being able to bring in a Jamal Adams type player?
Yeah, that was
Oh yeah, Jamal Adams did sign here right before they got to this press conference. He came into the league as a safety, but when he was last in Oakland, I believe he was a linebacker. So we'll see how that works out. Also, some people have been asking, like, is this the end for Harris Smith? I don't know. Like, we'll have to wait and see on that.
actually, the thing that excited me the most was just, again, you guys will hear me talk about process, but just like having the conversations with Flo and the personnel staff and kind of bringing those two areas of expertise to life together. And first kind of started broaching the subject of Jamal just based on the skill set and my experience with him and, you know, the energy and the passion that he brings. And then it started to, you know, getting in again to the specific skill set of what he does well. And then what, you know, what Flo task players or what he can give them the freedom to do within this system. And so those things aligned. And I think Flo was excited about the acquisition. I know Jamal was excited about the potential and the possibility of being here. And those two things came together. And so to me, that's good process. And then we'll see about the result. But I'm really, really positive about that direction.
Couple more questions. I'm sorry. Are you actively pursuing another pass rusher, backup pass rusher?
Yeah, if there's a good football out there somewhere, we're actively discussing it and pursuing it, and then finding ways to improve our roster every day of the week, every day of the month, and every day between, you know, now and the trade.
There's been some talk about them getting Jadeveon Clowney. I like that move personally for them, just to have a backup pass rusher. But I think they'll add one at cut down day. Personally, I don't think they're going to add one during training camp.
Deadline and the end of the season.
Is that guy out there?
There's always good football players out there for sure.
Nolan, what was your perception of Kyler just competing against him as much as you guys did? How was?
Listen, he was the number one pick for a reason. It's not just about what he can do with his arm, and we all know that he can operate on schedule. And I was excited about the potential of seeing him in this system, and then how we were going to complement it with the run game. But
that's a very important statement right there. He was the number one pick for a reason. Like, guys don't just randomly become number one picks. You have to understand also, Kyler was selected 10th overall in the MLB draft, and he could have pursued a baseball career, but he chose football. I think he was player of the year in Texas twice at Allen High School. And those of you who follow high school football, you know Allen High School is a high school football powerhouse. So to be like the best player in a football state of Texas at one of the best high schools in the nation, you know, Kyler's got the talent to be good. He just needs the right system and the right team to showcase his talents. And Arizona was never really that team.
Rarely do things go as planned in the National Football League, and so it's the extension of the play and what he can do, you know, what he can do in that arena, you know, when he can create as well.
Kevin, how do you think about the conversation about his play style and the system and the fit between those two?
Yeah, I think he's always been an accurate passer, especially.
What'd you say, KOC? Hold on, we gotta rewind that. What'd you just say about him?
About his play style and the system and the fit between those two.
Yeah, I think he's always been an accurate passer.
Kyler Murray has always been an accurate passer. Really, that's crazy because Twitter and the internet seems to think otherwise. So I don't know. I'm gonna believe in the coach that actually coaches the guy instead of the internet.
Especially when you study him, you know, the rhythm of the game, when he's in that rhythm and you feel this command of his ability to throw completions and move the team. And then, you know, you do feel you don't have to watch his tape very long to feel that play extension and the ability to, you know, not only steal some first downs with his legs, but he can go get a lot more than that. And I think the key with that is he's learned, and as guys learn throughout their career, no matter their skill sets, you know, it's about maximizing each play with an intent on, you know, what is the outcome that we're looking for, what has schematically been designed. But then it's on top of that, my ability to extend and maybe create the play beyond the scheme, which is always a good thing. But then there's the negative outcomes, whether it's guys getting hurt or turning the football over. We know some of the things that are critical.
Speaking of turnovers, the Vikings turned the ball over more than any team in the NFL last year. They had a serious issue with turning the football over. That is something that they have to fix like right away. Some of the other stuff they can probably work around, but they can't turn the ball over the way they did last year. Can't do that.
Critical to us winning, really since I've been fortunate enough to be the head coach here, and the quarterback position plays a huge role in that because they're the guy that commands the offense. They've got the ball in their hands, making decisions with the football. And Kyler has demonstrated, throughout his career that he's got the ability to do that at a high level. And I think it's the consistency factor of what we're looking for. But then I think it's also understanding he's got a pretty darn good group of players around him in that huddle. And, he's simply doing his job and the effectiveness of doing.
The Vikings going into this year ranked ninth in supporting cast in terms of overall roster strength. It's a good football team overall.
Doing that consistently has proven to be a really good thing for guys that have played in the system.
Last one to Kevin over here.
Guys, has anything changed with Harrison Smith and where you guys stand with him? Is that still an open door if interested, or do you guys have any clarity there on
Yeah, I would just say I spoke to him recently, just like, I always do, and we had a great conversation. Nothing has really changed, but there was never an expectation, at least.
I think Harrison Smith is going to come back. I think he's going to get the itch. He's going to get to about a couple days in pads, and he's going to be like, I got to go back. So I really do think Harrison Smith is coming back. Well, guys, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this. Our next video, we're going to probably share some practice streams or more press conferences. We'll definitely talk about the quarterbacks. Voice crack. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks because they're definitely going to speak and talk, and we'll share some reaction from there. But until then, guys, we'll see you in the next video.